Americans are protesting against Biden's extreme leftist policies, according to Larry Kudlow. The more prosperous Obama economy came to life for a few years during this time due to low interest rates, almost non-existent inflation, and tax cuts. This is the present, not then. For the past 2.5 years, Joe Biden has waged war on fossil fuels, doing everything he can to stop the flow of energy. So, inflation returned, increasing by 15%, 33% for gasoline, and over 20% for groceries. Although there are other factors that contribute to inflation, Mr. Trump essentially has the whole picture correct. At the Sean Hannity Town Hall last night, the former president reiterated his criticism of Biden. "Please listen, so we have energy independence," Trump said. "Consider the situation 3 years ago. People may not be aware of what I refer to as liquid gold since it is gold. It is superior to gold. More liquid gold is under our feet than in any other country, including Saudi Arabia and Russia. We may rely on our own energy. We were going to sell energy to Europe and many other locations within 6 months, and we were going to make a ton of money doing it since it's such a big business and there's such a big world. It encompasses everything, which is what caused the inflation. For example, once we ceased drilling for energy, the price of petrol for a car has suddenly increased to $5 or $6 per gallon. It's difficult to refute any of it. The good news is that Americans are rejecting Biden's extreme leftist ideas, including the Green New Deal, which have hurt the economy, pushed up inflation, and resulted in a 2-year continuous decrease in real take-home pay for middle-class and blue-collar workers. According to a recent study conducted on behalf of the Committee to Unleash Prosperity, 79% of respondents said we shouldn't raise the price of energy. Only 19% of respondents disagree. According to the same survey, 77% of participants oppose being compelled to drive electric cars. The median answer to the question of how much you personally would be ready to pay each year to mitigate global warming was $20, whereas only 23% of respondents wanted an EV mandate. Of course, Biden is spending enormous sums. However, there is even more good news. Pollster Mike McKenna observes that all of these reactions are shifting away from the Biden assault against natural resources. There may be an end to the ESG scourge. Environmental, social, and corporate governance is referred to as ESG. It is a left-wing catchphrase that represents extreme climatic change, far-left investment, and even cultural difficulties. ESG proponents cheered at recent shareholder meetings for Big Oil. Shareholders rejected a number of initiatives to reduce greenhouse gas emissions, release new reports on climate benchmarks, or expose the risk of oil spills at both the ExxonMobil and Chevron shareholder meetings. Sandra Smith, a co-anchor of America Reports, responds to Kudlow's discussion of Democrats' environmental goals. These plans were a big hit the previous year. 3 greenies had to be added to ExxonMobil's board. Interestingly, identical climate initiatives were defeated at the BP and Shell annual meetings in London. Large investment firms like BlackRock and Vanguard have retreated. Regulations proposed by the SEC that would essentially require businesses to operate in accordance with the climate are unpopular. In a recent hard-hitting address, a top Federal Reserve governor asserted that the Fed's primary responsibility is to maintain financial and monetary stability, not to regulate climate change. Europe is suddenly changing its tune on fossil fuels, making natural gas a legitimate and acceptable clean-burning fuel while the Russian war in Ukraine rages on. Let's hope that things are actually changing for the better, because if they do and sensible policies are reinstated, America will be more prosperous with much lower inflation.